Everything you've been doing to fix your sleep might actually be why you are still wide awake at night. Going to bed earlier, tracking your sleep scores, counting how many hours until you have to get up tomorrow, trying to make sure that you get enough sleep the night before something important is happening. All of that can actually turn sleep into a test that your brain thinks it needs to pass. And a brain that thinks it's being tested just ends up staying alert, which keeps you awake, even when you're completely exhausted. And I know the feeling really well because I lived this way for 16 years. I would lie there completely exhausted, watching the clock, calculating the hours, worrying, trying to find every technique that I could to make myself fall asleep faster. And the harder I tried, the worse my sleep got. And so I just kept doing more. I kept Googling more, researching more, but the answers were not in the Google searches. And it wasn't until I finally understood that the trying itself was the problem. And once I got that, that is when my sleep changed almost immediately. And it's been now over 8 years since insomnia has any control over my sleep or my life. So in this video, I'm going to show you 6 simple shifts that helped me fix this pattern for good. These are all super important, but I want you to pay close attention to number 3 because that is the mistake that most people never even realize is what's keeping them awake. Starting with shift number 1, which is that your bedtime is not the real anchor. When your sleep schedule is off, the first instinct that most people have is to try to go to bed earlier. And I completely understand why. It makes logical sense. If you're not sleeping enough, then just get into bed sooner, right? But here is the problem with that. If your body isn't actually sleepy yet, then getting into bed earlier for most people doesn't actually help you get more sleep. It just means that you're lying away there awake for longer than you would want to be. So you feel like you're waiting around. And then that's when you start checking the time, you start getting frustrated. And that frustration starts to teach your brain something that you don't want it to learn, which is that it thinks bedtime is now a problem. That the bed is a place where you lie there and you struggle and get frustrated. Are you with me so far? Because this is such an important distinction that most sleep advice completely misses. So instead of starting with your bedtime, start with your wake up time. Your wake up time is the real anchor. When you commit to waking up at the same time every morning, regardless of when you went to bed last night or how you slept, your body starts to sync up to that rhythm really quickly. So all you need to do is pick your wake up time and commit to it for, 3 to 4 days in a row. Set an alarm and actually get up when it goes off, even if you're tired, even if you didn't sleep as well as you wanted. Yes, the first couple days might be tough, but within just a few days, your body will start to naturally get tired earlier in the evening because now it knows exactly when you need to be up in the morning. Your sleep schedule actually regulates itself from the morning end of the cycle, not the evening end. And once your wake up time becomes consistent, your body usually starts getting sleepy earlier all on its own. But this next part is where most people accidentally break the reset before it even has a chance to work. And shift 2 is to stop being afraid of feeling tired. When you're adjusting your sleep schedule, you're probably going to feel tired during the day. And that can feel like a bad sign, like the reset isn't working, like something is wrong. But that tiredness is actually your body doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's building up what is called sleep pressure. And sleep pressure is exactly what makes you naturally tired earlier in the evening and helps you fall asleep more easily at night. And it also helps you sleep through the night if you've been waking up too early. So the tiredness that you're trying to avoid is actually working in your favor. So think of it like this. Sleep pressure is like a natural sedative that your body produces all on its own. And the longer that you're awake, the more of it builds up. So that groggy, tired feeling that you have during the day, that's actually your body manufacturing exactly what it needs to help you sleep better tonight. So it's not actually a problem. The tiredness is part of the solution. And the mistake that a lot of people make here is taking a nap during the day to compensate. And I completely get it. When you're exhausted, a nap feels like an obvious solution. But here's what can end up happening. A long nap can end up releasing all of that built up sleep pressure before bedtime, which means by the time that night actually comes, your body doesn't feel naturally sleepy anymore, which just further delays the reset of your sleep schedule that you've been trying to shift. You can absolutely rest during the day. Move slower, take it easy, make your day easier when possible. If I'm tired during the day, I love to sit and I meditate for 10 to 20 minutes, even 30 minutes, but just try not to take a long nap for the first few days of doing this. Just trust that your body knows what it's doing and let your body build up the tiredness that it needs to fall asleep at a better time. Now, number 3 is a mistake that makes you feel wide awake at night, even if you're extremely tired. Shift 3 is to stop counting sleep hours. Okay, so this is a big one, and I want you to sit with this because this is the thing that most people are doing every single night without even realizing how much it's affecting them. You get into bed, you see the time, and immediately your brain starts calculating. If I fall asleep right now, I'll only get 6 hours. If I'm still awake in 30 minutes, then tomorrow is ruined. I need to fall asleep now, right? Does this sound familiar? Because if it does, I can confidently say that you are definitely not alone. This is the single most common pattern that I see, and it makes sense because of course you want to know how much sleep you're going to get. Of course you're concerned about tomorrow. That's just your brain trying to protect you. But here's what that ends up doing instead. When you fixate on the sleep math, the counting the hours, your brain is no longer resting. It's now problem solving. It's now monitoring. It's now trying to control something that actually can't be controlled that way. So here's the thing that most people don't fully understand. Sleep is not something that you have to try to solve directly. Sleep is something that your body does automatically when it feels safe enough to let go. Just like your heartbeat, your digestion. You don't try to digest your food. It just happens. Sleep is the same. So when you turn sleep into a math problem, when you start calculating and predicting how much sleep you'll get and what that means about tomorrow, your nervous system gets a message that something is wrong, that there's something important to stay alert for. And that makes you more alert, not less. So let me ask you something. Has counting the hours ever actually helped you fall asleep faster? Has calculating how much sleep you have left ever made you feel better? Or does it just make the whole thing feel more urgent and more stressful, right? Because it's not helping, it's actually hurting. So tonight, when you get into bed, your job is not to calculate, your job is not to check what time it is or how long you have left until your alarm is going to go off. Your job is not to predict how tomorrow is going to go. Your only job is to rest, not to sleep, not to fix anything, not to figure anything out, just to rest. And when you stop treating your sleep like a problem to solve, your nervous system finally gets the signal that it's safe to drift off. Quick side note, if you've been struggling with your sleep for months or years, you're definitely going to want to watch my free masterclass too. This is where I go deep into the exact strategy I teach my clients to end chronic insomnia for good, including the subconscious ways you've been accidentally sabotaging your sleep without even realizing it. That link is in the description. Now, even if you stop counting hours, your brain still needs a clear signal that the day is over, which is why shift 4 is to give your brain an off-ramp. Here's something that most people don't realize. Your brain doesn't automatically know when the day is over. You have to tell it. So think about how most people spend their evenings, scrolling through their phone, messaging, watching suspenseful or intense TV shows, or even going from one task to the next right up until the moment that they get into bed. And then they wonder why their brain won't let them sleep. And honestly, can you blame your brain? It's been getting the signal all day that there's so much stuff to do, so many things to respond to, so many problems to solve. And then suddenly you're laying horizontal in the dark and you just expect that to just stop. That's not how your nervous system works. Your nervous system cannot go from 100 miles an hour to a full stop instantly. It needs a transition. It needs a bridge between being on all day and being able to let go and rest at night. And without that bridge, your brain is essentially being asked to slam the brakes on a speeding car. And that's really hard for your nervous system to do. So this wind down doesn't have to be complicated or it doesn't have to be structured in any particular way. It's not about following a perfect routine. It's simply about intentionally signaling to your brain that the day is done and that there's nothing left to solve or prepare for. So some really simple ways to do this are to just dim the lights in your house earlier in the evening. evening. Slow down your physical movements. Put your phone down earlier than usual. Stop problem solving. Definitely stop working. Don't have a phone conversation with someone in your family who has the potential to trigger you. Don't do that. Do something that feels enjoyable and low stimulation. Read a book, listen to something calming, a podcast. Give yourself permission to just exist for a little while without having to be productive. The goal here is simply to create an off-ramp for your brain, a gentle transition that tells your nervous system the day is over. I don't have to solve any problems. Nothing is required of me right now, and it is safe to rest. And the beautiful thing is, the more consistently that you do this, the faster your brain learns to associate that wind down period with safety and rest. And that makes falling asleep so much easier and more natural. And this next one sounds completely backwards, but it is the part that changed everything for my sleep. Shift 5 is to stop being a perfectionist about your sleep. And I know this sounds counterintuitive because obviously, if your sleep is off, you want to fix it. Of course, you want to fix it. And I want to acknowledge that for a second, because if you've been struggling with your sleep for a while, of course it feels important. Of course you care. You're exhausted. It's affecting your days. It's affecting your mood. It's affecting a lot of things, right? So I'm not saying that your feelings aren't valid. I'm just saying that the perfectionism around sleep has become part of the problem. And here is why. Perfectionism creates pressure. And pressure keeps your nervous system alert, which is the exact opposite of what you need to fall asleep. When you start being a perfectionist about your sleep and you monitor everything, what time you got into bed, how long it took you to fall asleep, how many hours you have left, whether your sleep schedule is fixed yet, how long is this going to take to fix, your brain starts treating sleep like a performance that it needs to nail or a crisis that needs to be managed around the clock. Which is why you've probably noticed yourself worrying about your sleep during the middle of the day. And that's because you've accidentally been holding your sleep to an impossibly high standard and attaching too much pressure to the topic of sleep altogether. Sleep doesn't respond to high standards. It responds to the complete absence of any standards at all. So here's the truth. Your sleep schedule being off is not a crisis. It is just a temporary phase, and your body is going to figure it out much faster than you think if you stop sending it the signal that something is terribly wrong. So instead of measuring your sleep against a perfect standard, try a simpler benchmark instead, like this one. Did you get out of bed when you needed to? Are you getting through your days? Are you functioning? That's it. That's totally good enough in the beginning when you're in this transition. The more neutral and indifferent you can become about your sleep, the faster your sleep schedule is going to regulate itself, because you've stopped sending your nervous system the message that something is wrong. And when your brain stops treating sleep like something it has to perfect, your body has a much easier time finding its own natural rhythm. So stop monitoring it, stop measuring your sleep, stop making it mean something about tomorrow. Because the moment that you do, sleep stops being a performance that you have to get right. And it just becomes something that your body naturally does. You get to decide the meaning that everything has in your life. And I'm willing to bet that you have way more important things to think about than whether your sleep was perfect enough last night. And to give you some inspiration that this really works, here are some testimonials from members of my sleep success program who were completely able to turn their sleep around. You can pause the video if you'd like to read through these. But now there is one more moment that can either keep the anxiety going or help your brain trust that it's safe to let its guard down so you can sleep again. Shift 6 is to choose your first morning thought. Your first thought when your alarm goes off sets the tone for your entire day. And most people don't realize how much that first thought is actually shaping their sleep anxiety going into the next night. If your first thought is, I'm exhausted, I didn't sleep enough, today is going to be awful, how the heck am I going to function? Your brain hears that and it goes, got it. And it carries that energy all through your day. Everything feels harder. Your anxiety is heightened. And by the time bedtime rolls around, your brain is already dreading it. It's already bracing for another bad night. And here's the really sneaky part about this. That thought probably feels true or accurate. It probably feels like you're just being honest with yourself about how you feel in that moment. But what you're actually doing is giving your brain instructions for the day. And your brain is incredibly obedient. It will find every piece of evidence to confirm whatever story you are telling first thing in the morning. But here's what's really powerful about this: you can interrupt that cycle from the morning end. When you wake up, even after a rough night, catch that first thought before it spirals and choose a different one intentionally. Something like, I might feel a little tired right now, but I've gotten through days like this before and I've been completely fine. Or I can get up, I can start slowly, and I can just take things one step at a time. It's not fake positivity, it's just something that takes the pressure off yourself and the pressure off the day, because that is what gives your brain a signal of safety instead of danger. And this matters because when your day starts feeling less scary, less high stakes, that is what shows your nervous system that it doesn't need to keep running on adrenaline. It's the excess adrenaline and cortisol that's been blocking your sleep. And your brain responds to what you tell it. So when you start your day with an empowering thought, your day genuinely goes better. And when your days go better, the anxiety around sleep starts to reduce. And when the anxiety reduces, sleep improves naturally. This is the cycle working in your favor instead of against you. And it starts with just one thought first thing in the morning before you even get out of bed. Your body already knows how to sleep. It already knows how to regulate itself. It just needs you to get out of its way. Because the goal was never to try harder. It was always just to take the pressure off yourself and off your sleep entirely. If this video helped you, make sure to send this to someone you know who's been struggling with their sleep, because this is the approach that no one else is talking about, and it's the one that actually makes the biggest difference. And if you want to set yourself up for the best possible night of sleep tonight, go watch this video next. I walk you through the exact evening routine that helped me cure my insomnia, and it works way better than the standard sleep hygiene advice. This is what to do in the hours before bed so your brain feels safe enough to fall asleep and stay asleep, and you can watch it right here.